about this. The first time I got this news, I was alright, I was relaxed, and when I saw this in the internet, I screamed, I yelled, and I got down on my knees and hands and ran away desperately, and that provoked a diverticulite, and this was something horrible to me. I still have this verticulite, and I think that now that this will be judged by the STF, we need to do a big movement. There will be a big movement in the Oficina, the Teatro Oficina, after my marriage. And we are getting together with a multitude of people against this temporal mark. It is of such an ignorance, such a burrice. The indigenous culture is the strongest one in Brazil and in the world. You can't even imagine how cold, how rich this culture is. And the notion, that's the knowledge that they have regarding the land, protection of the forest, it's such an ignorance. These people that are voting in favor of the temporal mark are people that cannot feel, they're out of feelings, they're ignorant, but really, seriously ignorant, because the indigenous culture, it is the most sophisticated, the richest, maybe in the whole world. This is the most important culture. Now we're putting together A Queda do Céu, The Fall of the Sky by Davi Kopenawa, recorded by Transformed in Book. It's a book that has been translated to all the languages, to so many languages, and Davi Kopenawa has been with other indigenous people all over the world. There is a connection going on among all the native people in the world, because it's a culture that's in ascendance, their way of living. My ancestors are indigenous. I am from Araraquara. My grandmother was indigenous. She ran away from the cativeiro where the Bandeirantes put her. She used to live in Porto Feliz, in the Rio Tietê. The Bandeirantes kidnapped her, but she ran away, and she arrived in Araraquara and married my grandfather. So I also have indigenous blood, and I think this temporal mark is a garbage. It's a garbage. It's such a regression. It's a regression in the development in this moment when the world is being violently cautious against the possibility of the end of the world. The whole planet is aware of that. So these deputies that are voting in favor of this, they don't have their feet on the ground. They're not looking at the world situation, the world awareness regarding the danger the planet is in. Is a situation in which the indigenous people, natives, are the vanguard. Ailton Krenak wrote a book called Ancestral Future. Krenak's big book, the great intellectual, maybe the best Brazilian intellectual. The ancestral future is here and now. The natives have a vision of the world that you don't have. You're messianic. You are always looking for something that don't exist, and you're always going after it. You have no idea what the here and now is. The life here and now, the one that's pulsing, is a life that demands the defense of planet Earth that is in danger, and you have no idea about it. You're so ignorant. If you had a little meditation, a little culture that weren't like this mercantilship, this mercantile culture, capitalism, this greed. If you could examine just a little bit the situation as human people, you would get richer and take a step back, because what you're wanting to do is a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime. Do not practice this crime. The Supreme will judge against the temporal mark. And put something on your head. The indigenous native cultures is a lot superior than yours. And if you can start to comprehend this culture, you will be filled with such a huge human richness, and you will fall into something that's very beautiful. That's the here and now. To live here and now. You don't have to be living all the time after more money and more money. You are messianic. You're messianic. So give a bit more attention to your life, to your body. Meditate a bit before you commit this crime. This crime will be judged by the STF, and you will dance. Mad. Shit.